Crypto crash 2022. My goodness, we are seeing red left and right. And obviously, a lot of people are wondering, should they be selling? Should they be getting out? Is this madness gonna end at some point? And in today's video, I want to give you 3 reasons why you should be panicking. And I'm gonna give you a couple of reasons why you shouldn't. So let's dive in. By the way, if you're very new, then please click subscribe if you're generally interested about crypto and various objective analysis. That's what I love to do here on the channel. I've been in this space now for almost 8 years, and obviously I've gone through several massive crashes, and yeah, I think I have quite a good feeling on what's really happening. So first and foremost, where is this crash coming from? Well, at the end, it kind of shows how crypto is mostly risk on, which means people invest into Bitcoin and in the altcoins when they are willing to take a little bit more risk. And since the Fed has announced beginning of Q4 last year that they're probably going to taper, they're going to cut down on this easy money, people have started to realize that maybe this was one of the main reasons why tech specifically, and with that also crypto, has been going up. And so now you see very much a bit of a risk aversity. A lot of people, in my opinion, mistakenly now say that tech and crypto is very much correlated. I think that's just because people at the moment still want to invest in tech for risk, but yeah, in crypto as well. So I would just say that both are correlated to being quite having an affinity for risk. And at the moment, we see a kind of an environment where people don't want to take as much risk. And so having said that, Bitcoin is down almost 50% from its all-time high. Many altcoins are further down from the all-time high. If you compare most altcoins with Bitcoin, obviously you compare them from the all-time high, most altcoins are down further than 50%. So they underperform Bitcoin in the last 3 months. If you go, however, a bit further out, so let's say you look over a year's time, then you see that most altcoins still outperform Bitcoin for the simple reason because people over the past 2 years, especially with all this cheap money that was printed by the Fed, people tended to be a bit more risk on. Yeah, maybe my personal situation, and then I'm going to give you the 3 risks. End of October 2021, I had mentioned that I sold off a lot of my personal Bitcoins, not so much because I had expected the price to crash. Had I expected the price to crash, I would have sold off all my crypto. I'm not stupid, but obviously there was no expectation for the prices to crash. But Bitcoin was up so much, I didn't think Bitcoin was going to have so much more upside, and I just thought that its returns are going to be a bit slower in comparison to other investments. And so and since Bitcoin was a very large position, I had sold off most of my Bitcoins and diversified them in very low volatility assets. Now, I want to highlight my company, Cake DeFi, where I own almost half of it, owns a lot of crypto, owns a lot of Bitcoins. So obviously I have massive exposure that way. So I had to kind of diversify from that a bit. And also, again, I want to highlight, I didn't know that Bitcoin was going to crash. I just thought, hey, it makes a lot of sense to diversify into other things. So that's a bit of the status. And so looking at this right now, if you are owning cryptocurrencies right now, let's start with that aspect, then you should be panicking in 3 states. First, if you used leverage. Now, why? Because most of the time you get liquidated, and if you got 0, you cannot invest anything anymore. So looking at, for example, our customers at Cake DeFi, we don't allow any leverage. And that's for good reason. We're in the same boat as our customers at the company. We provide cash flow to them. So one of the things we don't want them to do is to get liquidated. I know that most trading platforms out there, that's a big business model for them. Not for us. We want to keep our customers long-term and make money together. So you should be panicking. If you use leverage, don't use leverage. I think that's important. Second big kind of reason for you to panic is if you need liquidity right now. And well, if you need liquidity right now, then you should be panicking because you obviously only have half the liquidity in comparison to just 3 months ago. And that's never a good scenario. So yeah, if you're in that situation, you would want to get some liquidity together and make sure that you kind of cover your liabilities. Also, be prepared that this kind of crypto setback takes a bit longer than some other setbacks. I made a video where I kind of highlighted for this crypto market to turn around. I think it either needs a bit of a more dovish Fed, a bit more lighter one. It needs maybe a large entity with some strong signaling effect to start buying into crypto and raise the market that way. Or it needs a Bitcoin spot ETF. And so I think without those three things, I very much doubt that we're going to see actually a rally for the crypto markets. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit more of a sideways direction. Now, looking at, for example, our customers, the company, obviously, our customers generally not traders, very long-term focused. And when I see their chats and conversations, most of them see this quite relaxed. They are more focused on the cash flow side of things. Obviously, they are generally investing funds that they don't need right now. And if you're investing funds that you don't need right now, sure, it would have been a better decision, or it would have been a better outcome, let's say it this way, to have sold all the crypto into dollars 3 months ago. But who could have known? I didn't know. And I doubt that anyone is out there and says, I knew. I mean, people will say they knew, but most of the time they are just kind of telling you afterwards. I think it's very difficult in that moment to actually do that. And last but not least is if you are invested in a project, and that's the key thing, that you think will not recover to higher prices. And that's generally when you're investing in bad projects, you're just investing into a price, you're not investing into value. Now, obviously, we on Cake DeFi try to list coins that we ourselves are also quite convinced of, or think that long term could have a good possibility. Now, that doesn't mean that we can guarantee good prices in all these coins. I think that's impossible. But we try to list solid projects. And so, generally speaking, I think on our platform, most people are quite hopeful and quite confident. Now, I understand in these moments when it goes down, many times people panic and they feel like, oh my goodness, it's never going to turn around. Just like when prices are going up, people think it will never actually go down. So I think that is a really important aspect. And if you don't fall into those three categories, so you haven't used leverage, you're actually good in those projects, and you have a long-term time horizon, there's absolutely zero reason for you to panic right now. I'm 100% confident that we're going to see the rosier times again going forward. Now, obviously, and that's key, it may actually take months. It may take years, right? So if you look at the 2018 crash, it took over 2 years until we kind of actually almost 3 years until we actually saw those prices again from the old all-time high. Now, I don't expect it to take 3 years, but just have that mental kind of preparation for it. I think that's really important for you in all that regards. And that's the hodling side. So I would only be selling if you really need that liquidity right now. If you're in good projects, if you have a long enough time horizon, that makes absolutely no sense to be selling right now. Now going to the buying side, I would buy right now if you have excess liquidity on the sidelines, and if you have a long enough time horizon, and obviously if you have good projects to invest in. And don't use leverage for that. Look for the long-term time horizon. It's just so important to kind of highlight that. And then if you do, I would get in. I think the long-term perspectives here are fantastic. Obviously, as the CEO of Cake DeFi, I would love if you actually go to our platform and buy crypto here and then use our services and products. Sure. But I think it's really about the kind of right mindset in general. Now, I'm completely relaxed about this, really. I wouldn't even care if the prices go down another 50%. But at the same time, I also wouldn't care if the prices double or triple from here for the very simple reason I have rebalanced. And I generally always rebalance when prices are really good to rebalance. And then I rebalance in when the prices are actually not so good. For example, one thing I can give you with liquidity mining, you constantly rebalance, right? Because you always have those two pairs. So for example, if you want to do liquidity mining with dollars and Bitcoin dollars and DFI, for example, you constantly kind of rebalance and you would constantly be buying the other side. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind on if you want to have a bit of an automated system there. These are a bit of my thoughts here. So yeah. I don't fall into any of those categories to panic, so I'm going to see this very easy, very cool, and I hope you do as well. If you have any questions or any comments or any kind of worries, then just let me know down below. I'll try to address them. And I hope you follow, subscribe, and look further into what we're doing. Obviously, leave us a review or share. I would be very much appreciated. With this, take care. Have a really good week and see you next time. Yours truly, Julian. Bye-bye.